What's up, guys? All right, so quick video here. This is just going to be kind of an introduction and an overview to n8n. What is n8n, right? And why would you use something like n8n over Claude Dispatch, Claude Cowork, and things like that? Is kind of what I'm going to get into here. So let's just get right into it. Let's not waste a bunch of time. So n8n is an agent orchestration platform. So this is where you can literally assemble a workflow piece by piece, node by node. And it allows you to see what's going on, right? To understand what's going on. n8n is a very no code or low code platform. It already has a ton of built-in integrations for about every software platform and provider you can think of. There's hundreds of thousands of people that use this. It's got 192,000 stars on GitHub. This is where I personally started my automation journey. I found it really easy to use. I'm pretty technical, but I found it super easy to use. And today, 3 years later, even though I build on other platforms, the majority of my workflows still run on n8n on the back end because it's just that good. So why choose something like n8n over Claude or Cowork or Dispatch and all these things that Anthropic's trying to do right now? Well, they have a very vested interest in keeping you hooked up to their agents doing all of the orchestration. And that obviously costs a lot of money. So if you look, this is a typical workflow. So this is an email assistant workflow. And what it does, every 10 minutes, it looks at my email inbox. This is a code node that only pulls the folders that I want to look at. It sends it to the AI agent, right? Now, the cool thing about an orchestration layer like this is I'm not locked into any vendor, right? So I have a Sonnet model here. I have an Anthropic model here. I have a ChatGPT model, an OpenAI model here. I also have my local Llama Quen model here. So I can test the output between different providers and pick the best one for the job. ChatGPT 5.4 mini misses tool calls like 40% of the time. Sonnet gets them every single time. Quen calls tools great, but the draft copy isn't quite as good as it is with Sonnet. So the cool thing about this is you get to test, you get to play, you get to iterate, and you get to refine so these things work really, really well. So this is your basic orchestration. It's a schedule. It pulls the messages in. It passes it to an agent, which the agent then has the prompt. You can put your agent prompt right inside here, tell it exactly what to do, what tools to call, all of that stuff. It's super configurable. And then it will act based on those instructions. And this one is set to classify it, whether it's junk, a job, an interview, an alert, or an alert would be any kind of message that requires a draft. And it'll do different things based upon that classification. It'll create a draft if I need it to, or it'll just move it to the junk folder or move it to the job noise folder. And then it sends me a Slack notification to say, hey, there's an actionable email, here's the draft, and it will literally write a draft and put it in my drafts folder. So that's the 30,000 foot overview of why you would want to use something like this, right? This is a really cool one. So, and this runs on the back end. So this is a little automation I built for my wife's candle company. She's a very busy director of communications for a global architecture firm. She has a very high pressure, very high stress job. She doesn't have time to do candle photography for her little side business that she runs on the weekends. So of course I automated it for her. And what this does now, I built a small little lightweight front end application that runs on mobile. We can pick a candle photo, right? We can, whatever kind it is, flat lay, hero image. We'll do a flat lay. We'll do 4:5 for Instagram. And we'll do a very simple prompt. Eucalyptus, lavender, light, airy, elegant. Right? And we're going to hit generate photo. Now on the back end, this thing is going to kick off this workflow. that's going to normalize, it's going to take the prompt, it's going to normalize that query, it's going to expand on that prompt for the image generation model that we're using, which is Nano Banana 2, and we access that, or I access that through a model market called Key AI. More on that later. And as you can see, it's running the image generation prompt here. This execution is currently running. You'll see it after it completes. So what this does, it creates a more detailed prompt based off my simple one. It sends that to the image generation model, and then it waits. It'll loop over and loop over and loop over and wait until the image is done generating here. And it's done. Boom. And then it's going to serve it back to the front end. And here is the photo. And that's amazing. And then another thing we can do now is I have an approval loop. So we have stores that carry our candles, and getting these photos to our retail partners has always been a pain in the butt too, because we got to send emails. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of manual work on our part. So now I just have a simple approve button, and we have a website portal, right, for our wholesale partners, where now they have access to our entire digital asset library for their social media, for their website, for everything they want. And these are all the photos that we generated. So these are the kind of cool things you can do with n8n as the backbone. This is my job search query. And we'll run this one too live. I'll run it as a test, safe mode. So this is my config. This right here is just a JavaScript configuration that formats the query that I send to scrape LinkedIn for the roles I want, the keywords I want, the locations I want. When was it posted, last 24 hours, how many max results, full job description, all of that stuff. So we're going to run this in safe mode. We're going to flip this to true, just so I don't pull 100 jobs in. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to run this from the manual trigger. Now, as you can see, it's going to run. It's going to scrape LinkedIn. It's running in safe mode, so it's only going to pull 2 things in. And then let me pop my Slack up here. Boom. Now I just got a Slack notification. So scrape 3, second 2, rejected 1. So what this workflow does now, it scrapes LinkedIn, normalizes and flattens all the data. It makes sure there's no duplicates. It looks at our database of previous scrapes to make sure that job ID is not in there. If it is, it skips it. As you can see, it skipped 13 items. There were 3 new ones, so that logged the job and sent my Slack notification. Yeah, it scraped three new jobs. And that runs every day on a schedule. So these are the kind of cool things that you can build on n8n. And of course, I also have a front end to this, where now I can go in and I can look at all of those jobs that it just added right here. And I can go to the LinkedIn job advertisement. I can tell my Claude agents, hey, I want to build an application package for these, and it will go make the resume and the cover letter and everything for me. So the biggest advantage to using an agent framework platform is ultimate control of your workflows and also cost. So if we go into something like this, the only thing here that costs any money is this, right? Is this one node. All this stuff are code nodes, local databases, and API calls. That's it. If you're using Claude Code or Claude Desktop and CoWork and all of that stuff, now your agents are using output tokens to create these HTTP requests. And output tokens are the most expensive tokens. And believe me, they have a very big vested interest in letting you use your agents to do API calls. And if you take a little bit of time to learn this stuff, you can set up your own workflow pretty easy. So we'll do a really simple one. We'll start from a scratch, right? So you have a trigger. And a trigger can be anything. It could be on a schedule. It could be on a webhook, which means like my front end application here, when I started that, that's a webhook. It could be on a form submission. You have forms in here. You fill out a form. It creates a query, sends it down line. It could be on a chat message. So we're gonna do let's do a quick chat message, right? So we're going to make a very simple chat bot on chat message, and we're going to go in here, and you have tons of nodes you can choose from, right? All kinds of stuff. So we're going to do an AI agent. Okay, connected chat node is the source of the prompt, right? So this is the source of our prompt. That's our chat node. This is our agent. So now we got to go in here, and we have to add a chat model. I'm going to use, and you have everything in here. You have NVIDIA models. You have Mistral, Grok, AWS, Anthropic, Alibaba. I mean, you name it, it's in here already configured. And if it's not, you can do HTTP requests and configure your own. So we're going to use GPT-5 Mini, OpenAI. You obviously have to have your credentials configured. We're going to give this a simple memory. I have 5 windows here, right? And we're going to give it one tool, and we're going to give this my Outlook. And we're going to say messages, and we're going to get many. So a get many means it can get every message. It's going to go out and it's going to send an HTTP get request. So HTTP request is basically how you communicate with API. API is your application interface layer. So an HTTP request, you have 2 main ones, and that's post and get. Post means I want to post something somewhere. Get means I want to take something from somewhere. So this is a get request, and it's get many. And this is a HTTP request. It's just formatted as a nice put together node, already configured for the queries the way Outlook expects them. So that's the great thing about n8n, is a lot of these nodes are pre-configured. And that's really all I need to do. This is a very simple chat. GPT-5 Mini, simple memory. It remembers 5 conversations deep. You can set that in here, how long your context window length is. So this is 5 conversations. Whoop. And I'm going to go ahead and open the chat. And I'm going to say, do I have any new emails? And this is probably going to fail because I did not set the prompt, and it does not know that it has a tool to call. So check this out. Oh, it did. It called the tool. That's pretty darn impressive. Okay, I just fetched your inbox, and there are new messages. So that was actually pretty good, considering there is literally no prompt in here right now. So if you want to go in here and make it really specific and tell it how you want it to respond to you, you can go in here and add a system message. And this is where you would put your prompt. So again, this is a very simple example of how easy it is to create like a simple workflow in here. n8n, learn it. I'm going to put a lot of information in the comments and the description. I'll link to n8n's site. I'll link to their GitHub repo. So n8n, you can pay for their cloud service. I think it's like $20 a month. That's where I started. It works great. They give you some OpenAI credits to use. But I would highly recommend just self-hosting it. If you have a even somewhat modern computer, especially if you have a new Apple Mac computer with the Apple Silicon chips, just self-host it on Docker Desktop. It's definitely the easiest way, and it's free. It's super powerful. I use it all the time. So we're going to dig more into n8n and how to use it and how to build on it. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a 30,000-foot overview of what it is, why you should use it, and why I love it. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll talk soon. Peace.